Welcome back. We're going to do something different today. We're going to make music that sounds the way this looks. Or we're going to try at least. This is an image created by Guy Bu. His work is awesome, and he's always able to convey this surreal perspective in the most understated way. Let's see if we can capture any bit of his magic in the sonic realm. There's so much to look at here and think about. What's catching my eye initially is how, of these three characters, one has seemed to have jumped off this cliff, but instead of splashing into the ocean, he's been able to land on the ocean horizon as a surface and is now walking on it like a path. And he's on this initial part of the path where the sky is clear, there's clouds, but what perhaps awaits him further down the horizon are thunderbolts, a darker skyscape, and also mountains, the first of which being smaller than the second. There's perhaps an implication of choosing one's own way here or going on a different path and it being peachy to begin with, but peril and trials awaiting ahead. Maybe we can represent this backdrop as harmony. As far as a sound for the chords, I want to start with a Fender Rhodes sound. I'm going to use my All Rhodes instrument, which recently came out, and you can grab a copy on my website, jaronlopez.com. This visual style has a simplicity to it. The Rhodes is a good match because the Rhodes is essentially just bells. On the other side of the coin might be something like the acoustic piano, which has a kind of inherent Beethoven-ness to it, which in a visual realm might be something more like charcoal painting or something black and white, monochromatic. Let's go with one of the ambient presets for All Rhodes. Let's go with ambient random pan, which is going to let us randomly pan the notes as they're played. This is going to help us dial in that surreal aspect right off the bat. We want to have bright open skies with a storm rolling in the distance. Major key? Maybe the Lydian mode? Let's see. I actually really like that. Our bright sky could be C Lydian, starting with the root, and then the fifth, G, and then the seventh, the major seventh, B, E, the major third, D, the ninth, then up to the fifth again, and then to the Lydian fourth, the sharp 4 or sharp 11, F sharp. Maybe we'll span some of these notes across the octaves to make it feel more like that open sky on the horizon. Maybe even octave displace some of these notes. Yeah, I like that. This sounds to me like the open sky, but in the image, we've got that storm looming ahead. I think we need to represent that with a more overtly darker color. Not quite. Interesting. If this first C major sharp 11 chord is our open sky, blue sky, maybe we can capture that darker sky with the thunderbolts that's lying ahead with E minor. It's the same key. It's the same pool of notes. Right off the bat, we have a surreal element because this idea is 15 bars long. Now let's go to these three characters. Maybe we can represent them with a melody that has three parts to the phrase. Two of those parts can maybe be in conversation in some kind of call and response. And then the third one can be this character that just jumps off the cliff. For the lead sound, I'm going to use one of my favorites, the turquoise lead from my Electronic preset pack for Ableton's Analog. What if those two characters are going back and forth, like they're pictured in the image? It's almost like they're still having a conversation as to whether they should jump off the cliff or not, as if that's what was happening between all three of these characters until the third one just went ahead and jumped off. Why don't we represent that with a back and forth going on with the melody? Up and then down. That can be the back and forth between these two characters, and they're kind of saying the same thing, almost trying to convince each other it's okay not to jump. So we could go F sharp G A, which works within the C major chord, and then the second character answers back just going down through the same three notes. So, and then maybe we shift those three notes up one note in the scale. So then, and we keep going. Maybe we skip a note this time. We skip C since it's the root, and we just go A, B, D. And then back down. We could even keep going. Let's see. Maybe at this point, as these two are kind of overthinking or hesitating, the third character at this point jumps off. And maybe we rise up as though it's the character's kind of running towards the cliff edge and then jumps off, and then maybe it can fall. That could be the running jump up to that high note, and then maybe it glides down like the fall. Nice, I like that. Here's the third character. Interesting. I'm going to try to just embrace the messiness of it. That's kind of the whole reason I wanted to try this, is so that I had to kind of let go of the tidy structures of 4-bars and eighth notes and all that, and kind of just become more poetically minded in terms of interpreting what's going on in an image. I have another idea for how to achieve some of this surreal quality. What if we build a drum pattern where, as the synths start gliding and this character jumps off the cliff, what if the drums transform into the melody, and maybe we can make the melody transform into the drums? And this can kind of represent the way that the ocean becomes the surface on which this character is walking. So we kind of flip the expectation in a way. Let's try this. Let's use Ableton's resonator to bring a tonal element to these hi-hats. Get kind of a large reverb going. And now what if we grab Spectral Resonator, because Spectral Resonator can receive MIDI. So let's receive MIDI from Turquoise. Interesting. Cool. I want the melody and the drums to kind of switch places. to turn into the drums. Maybe with a vocoder? That's kind of close. Yeah. We've got the roads providing the clouds and the background of the image. We've got our melody that has two elements that are kind of working together, going up and down, that are our two characters on this cliff who didn't have the courage to jump. And then we've got our one element of the melody that just jumps up and is gliding around. That's our guy on the horizon who jumped off and then found that the ocean was solid and somehow survived the landing, and now he's trekking into the distance where the mountains and the thunderbolts are. And as that's occurring, we've got the drums that transform into the melody, and the melody transforms into a more percussive vocoder drum kind of sound, and it's all happening at once. Let's try it.